Hi, I'm Nathan from Serious Geeks, and today's Tactica article is going to be on the Space Marine Primaris Outrider bikes and how they fit into 40k using the information we have available now. For a long time, assault units have been called for in the Primaris range because although they have units that can be serviceable in assault, particularly aggressors and reavers, they've never had the real cutting edge that many of the armies in the 41st millennium do have. Although it's not armed with a jump pack, the Outrider unit looks to be the first real assault force that the Primaris armies can really utilise in sufficient numbers to put a lot of pressure on opponents. Why do I say this over assault intercessors or the Blade Guard? Well, that's simply because these units do not require transport, therefore they don't require additional points investment to get the most out of them. Taking a goosey at the stats, you can see they're very fast moving, they're tough, they have an extra pipper wound over other Space Marine bikes, in that they have 2 extra wounds from having a bike, so being Primaris in addition to that, they actually have 4 wounds. They are the equivalent of a Custodes jet bike. Of course, they don't have the armament of a Custodes, the extra attacks, or the 2+ save, or the invulnerable save for that matter, but you get the point I'm making. They have a lot of wounds, 4 wounds apiece. That's 12 for a basic unit of 3, which I imagine will be the minimum unit size, and hopefully they can have a larger unit up to 6 models at least. The rest of the stat line looks familiar to most Space Marine players. They've got a toughness 5 being bikes, +1 to their toughness. They've got the standard Primaris stat line of hitting on 3s in both close combat and shooting, and they also have the usual amount of attacks, 2 for being a Primaris. It's the bike special rules that really stand out though. On the charge, they receive an extra 2 attacks, which is in addition to shock assault and the basic 2 attacks they have. Added to this, they have the Astartes chainsword. Like all chainswords, it will give +1 to attack, but also it will probably have a -1 to its AP. Potentially other benefits like an extra pipper strength, but we know for definite it's got these benefits at least. The reason we know that is because we've spoken and watched a lot of information on the Warhammer community website and the Warhammer Daily done with Stu Black. So he has actually revealed that it is a superior chainsword that has an extra pip of AP. And as you know, chainswords have the extra attack anyway as standard. So these Outriders on the charge will have 6 attacks each. The Sergeant, we imagine, will have an extra 1. So in total, that's 19 attacks on the charge from 3 models. It's far from game breaking, but it's a very nice amount of attacks and makes the unit very nice in close combat. And where this really gets powerful is when you start adding in other chapter abilities and unit stratagems, etc., as well as support from characters. Plus, if we can increase the unit size to 6, then it becomes a very dangerous prospect on the tabletop. The unit shooting is fairly meagre. For the models, there's only 3 twin-linked weapons in the unit, and although that's a nice amount of attacks, it's 12 shots per each, strength 4, AP -1, obviously tactical doctrine notwithstanding, it becomes a nice little addition rather than actually a game-breaking unit. It's nice to have those shots, but don't rely on them to do a lot of work. Even at full 5 or 6 models, you're not going to be wiping out masses of units with them. What you want this unit to be doing, therefore, is charging forward, shooting its bolters at a target, and then assaulting the target to wipe it out. Because of the stats and the weapons involved, this unit is going to be best at killing infantry, preferably lighter infantry, but obviously it can go toe-to-toe with Space Marines, particularly in lower numbers, if you shoot them first and then assault them afterwards. So it's basically a unit that torrents its opponents to death. Orcs are going to hate it. Astra Militarum will probably dislike it as well because it can get right up into their grill fairly quickly and it will kill most of the infantry they have access to. Eldari armies, they will not like the attacks from this unit. Strength 4 does a number on Eldari. They're actually fairly weak in that regard. And the -1 AP for their weaponry does make a big difference to their 4+ and 5+ armor saves. We don't know the points value of this unit, but the main weakness is going to be accompanying them with a Primaris Lieutenant or a Primaris Captain to give them rerolls, because they are only hitting on 3+, and with a strength of 4, they're not going to get a massive amount of wounds. I mean, they could have a strength of 5, of course, we don't know that. They very well might have a strength of 5. We don't know if the chainsword does give that capacity, so we'll work on the assumption it doesn't at this point. Providing those rerolls is not going to be easy. We have to get a character up the table alongside them, and they have an incredible movement value, so they will often leave people behind. Certainly, you might accompany them with a transport such as an impulsor, and that will get a captain right up the table with them. but it won't be long until they're left behind. In this regard, unit size is going to be key. It's going to be the most key element to this unit apart from points. If you can only have 3 models in this unit, you're not going to waste the captain on them, because let's be honest, that captain could be elsewhere where he really needs to get as many rerolls to the rest of the army, as opposed to just accompanying 3 dudes who are careening around the table and crashing into infantry squads. If this unit can go up to 5 or 6 models, or you have multiple of this unit, then a captain and an impulsor charging up the table with them is going to be quite a good investment. Here's one of the kickers though. One thing I've always maintained is some of the most powerful lists out there for Space Marines include both classic old Marines as well as the new Primaris. If you was to put a jump pack or a captain on a bike with this unit, you're going to have an incredible fighting force. A captain on a bike might be a little bit smaller, barring kit bashes of course. People are always able to make their own kit bashes and versions of things, which is spectacular about the hobby, and we all enjoy that. But a captain on a bike is really powerful. He'll have a toughness 5, you can give him a power fist or a thunder hammer, and he can really get the benefit of all the attacks extra from this Outrider unit to kill hordes, to kill infantry squads, so he's got a nice bodyguard unit with him. In a similar vein, you can try jump pack troops with this unit. A jump pack captain or a jump pack chaplain is a nice accompaniment to this unit, and it will give them the same benefits or slightly different benefits in the case of a chaplain, whilst also having a powerful character associated with the unit. Even the infamous Smash Captain can accompany this unit and get a lot of benefit from it. For those who aren't aware, a Smash Captain is a basic Space Marine captain, classic or old born, depending on how you want to say it, firstborn, old Marines, classic, and he has a jump pack and a thunder hammer and usually some other benefits such as a 3+ invulnerable save from a storm shield, certain warlord traits depending on the chapter involved. His job is to get stuck in and smash things with his thunder hammer damage 4 weapon, and often they can be taken down afterwards with relative ease because he's usually on his own or he's fighting a large number of enemy troops. So with an Outrider squad, you might actually have a nice opportunity to cull some of the squads that might be coming for your Smash Captain after he's destroyed a Dreadnought, or destroyed that Knight, or finished off that whatever. So yeah, I think Smash Captain can get a lot of benefit from an Outrider squad. Lastly, the particular chapters who get the most benefit from an Outrider squad are the ones that you might expect. White Scars have a lot of benefits to their bikes. They have stratagems that enable them to advance, shoot and charge, which will really help out this unit. It gets to move 20 across the table when it advances and then can charge afterwards, which will scare a lot of people. Their weapons go up to damage 2 in the right doctrine, and that also makes them very effective, especially with the amount of attacks they have. They're also likely to be well supported and have good character support in the form of other bike and jump pack mounted troops. The Sons of Sanguinius, the Blood Angels, will also get a lot of benefits from using the Outrider squad, and that they have a lot of jump pack equipped characters to support them, and they get +1 to wound when fighting in close combat. And when in the Assault Doctrine, they also get an additional attack, which would be absolutely phenomenal on this unit. Other chapters can make use of this unit, but it does depend on what you want out of the army and what you want out of the units that you're using, as well as what kind of options you're going to have at a later date to support them. As an example, your Imperial Fist army might be very defensive. It might hang back a lot and do a lot of shooting. You might not actually want to use Outriders because you could use attack bikes for a similar points cost that have a very similar stat line, but slightly less attacks in close combat for better shooting overall. It all depends on what you want from your army, of course. Points will be key, and it'll be very interesting to see which armies take up the Outriders. I think overall, from the new Space Marine releases, this is going to be the most popular because 1, it looks spectacular. These bikes are really brutal looking. And 2, I think the utility they give you and the attacking elements, bear in mind there's a lot of obscuring terrain nowadays, is going to be very effective for taking objectives and supporting units across the board. It's too early to make concrete decisions on exactly their position within a tactical role, but that is my take on the unit so far. On that note, that's it from me. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree this is going to be a very effective unit, or whether you're not very confident that it's going to have much use in your Space Marine army. Always like to hear what people have to say. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and I'll catch you all soon. Peace out.